what you know about purification to save the heart of a nation. Let burn a talking wood, bringing light to a talking wood. Not your largest wisdom and love, vision truth below as a bird. Let burn a talking wood, let burn a talking wood.
Welcome to the Affirm Life Daily podcast. I'm your host, Cynthia Mitchell. Thank you so much for joining. And I am very excited about the topic tonight. But before we dive in, I want to remind you all to visit the website, affirmlifedaily.com. Please follow on social media at Affirm Life Daily, subscribe on YouTube. All the things, because we really need your support to get this message out about truth and freedom. It takes a village, and we are the village, people. So we all have to support one another in this movement and spread the word as much as we can. But without further ado, I'm going to share my screen so I can introduce these fine gentlemen that are in the food and freedom movement. So all the things. I'm very excited about this. So forgive me for my excitement. So can you all see my screen?
Yeah. See it.
Okay, wonderful. So my special guests are Lawrence Nature Boy Steele, who has been on previously. Malcom Big Steele, he is the urban farmer. He has also been on. And brand new to the podcast is Melo Rucker. And I welcome all of them these are men in the food sovereignty movement. And we're going to be talking about the importance of men and that masculine energy in the food sovereignty movement, as well as why this movement is so vitally important to all of our futures. And it is, believe me. So we're going to start with a little video to show you in our hands-on. This is Big Steele right here.
I be growing collard greens. She Melo Rucker girl. She grow them things for me. She don't smoke that gas. She selling collard.
So we're talking to people that are actually doing it, not just talking about it. They're doing it day in and day out. They're part of this food sovereignty movement. Food freedom is essential. So you see his website address, check it out. I have purchased from him. You will not be disappointed. I promise you that you will not be in any way disappointed. And so this is Collectively Sustainable, and this video features Melo and Lawrence.
They judge your story too early. And now they got to watch your glory.
We're talking about people that are out here doing it,
God
doing
don't
the
make
work.
No mistakes. He makes movement. And you
Visit collectivelysustainable.org
you didn't choose this cause.
to learn more about this movement.
It chose you.
Which I am a part of as well.
You survived what should have destroyed you. And now you're thriving. Now you thrive.
They'll tell you a little bit more about this movement in particular called the Roots Movement.
You bled, but you didn't quit. Respectfully. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Hyperlocal systems and building real community. This is what we're talking about. This is the thing. This is the thing. So I want to give you all a chance to introduce yourselves. So,
man.
Lawrence, you want to go?
Yeah. I'm jumping in. You done got to play on 10. Hey, man. You done played the right music, the right vibe. Hey, you set the whole nine, man. Lawrence Seals, a.k.a. Nature Boy. We are Seals Family Farm down here in Riverdale, Georgia. We're an educational farm where we are teaching our community how to live more sustainably. We're also hyperlocal food system advocates and build infrastructure builders. So that's us, Seals Family Farm at El Natrino.
Okay. Whoever would like to go next?
I'm Malcom Steele, owner, operator, Big Steele Farm down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Here is where I teach people how to heal themselves through food as medicine, as I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I've been on the sick side and the heal side, and I teach gardening from an aspect of everything is medicine. What's in the soil is important. What those plants are taking in is important, because whatever those plants take in, you take in.
Yep. Yes.
Dope. What's up, y'all? I'm Melo. I'm an educator turned social designer. So and I've been in the education field for a little bit over 11 years, working with social, emotional intelligence, especially with younger groups. So, man, out in the community, learning life skills, and I turn to the environment, just learning from the nature around me. The more than human can, that's what I call it. 'Cause, yeah, they're definitely our kinfolk, but learning about our kinfolk and man, just spreading the word.
Yes, welcome, gentlemen. And each of you, please tell them where they can find you one more time. I know we had it on the slides, but just one more time where they can find you.
Yeah, for me, sealsfamilyfarm.com on socials, Farm Fresh 24/7 on Twitter. Excuse me, not Twitter. Farm Fresh 24/7 on TikTok and Farm Fresh 24/7 ATL on Instagram as well. I jacked that all up.
That's okay.
Big Steele Urban Farm. I am on all social media platforms except for Twitter. I think that's it. And link, I ain't got no link, but Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, whatnot, which I just started Substack also. I'm on all
Okay.
yeah.
I'll follow you on there.
I'm about to try Substack. I'm Melo Thought on Instagram and Twitter. I'm also on Facebook. Right now it's looking like a desert. Yeah, I got to really catch me in the streets to really see what I got going on. But you know what I'm saying? But that's why I'm here.
Yes,
Straight up.
absolutely.
Yeah,
We're
connecting
going
with
to
y'all.
learn.
Yeah.
We're going to learn so much from all of you. And thank you all so much for coming on to talk about this important issue. So we'll dive into question one. And how important is masculine energy to the freedom and food sovereignty movement? How important is it?
I mean, it's vital. I'm gonna jump out there. I'm gonna jump in the water first. It's vital. It's vital because number one, I believe in nature and homeostasis and the balance of things. And I just think again, the masculine energy is underplayed right now. I'm not gonna say undervalued, but underplayed. In some people's eyes, it's undervalued. I feel very confident, but I just feel like there's not enough masculinity in the space of agriculture and the movement. And just because, with masculine energy, that's that protection, that's that provision. And that's kind of where we're kind of galvanizing our units from and trying to get more people involved just because there is such a deficit. And that's kind of where all the heavy lifting comes in. Not to say our counterparts with feminine energy and the more expressive virtues, like they can still do the work, but it's some things that masculine nature, physicality is just needed to do. And I believe that we're missing a lot of that in the spaces we're building. It's very difficult to build with just a few strong men, and we're just trying to, even the odds and balance it out.
Yeah. Melo, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. When I think of masculine energy, it's like I think of like the active principle. You know what I mean? So in order for a movement to happen, you got to have an active principle. And of course, moving in the right direction to balance, like what Lauren said earlier about homeostasis, being able to harness that into more of a divine way. So having the protection, being able to move at the same time, and being able to merge it. And right now, yeah, it's underplayed, but yeah, it's extremely important to have both of those energies. But masculine energy definitely is the active one. Get us going.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, Malcolm?
I do feel like masculine energy is very underrated at the moment, and it is needed. It's we lacking the balance, right? So
Yes.
because of the lack of balance, things are off. And when you look at it, like Lawrence was saying, in that nature, and the masculine and feminine energy creates a ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? And it's certain things that
Yeah.
both of the energies benefit off of each other. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
they kind of
yeah,
synergize and create something new.
yeah. A man can build a home, right? But it takes a woman to actually turn it into a home, turn it into a house, I should say, turn that home into a happy house. You know what I'm saying? Like the structure, and then you got that feminine energy in it that can put that touch on it. You know what I'm saying? Like it just certain things we got to learn how to do, and part of it is working together. Egos, in this ecosystem between the masculine and the feminine, You can't have egos. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be able, and I struggle with this because I sometimes I don't like to hear that I'm wrong. So you got to be able to admit that you're wrong or you're messed up. And if it's messed up, don't beat each other down when you mess up. You just say slap them on the ass, tighten up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is, I like the way you related it back to an ecosystem, because it really is. Because when you think about balance, there is no part of nature, not even when you get down to the smallest cellular level, that will work properly without balance. Everything in nature absolutely needs balance. Because I was honestly, when I first, joined Collectively Sustainable and, attended the first event, I honestly, I was a little surprised that there weren't more men, that just the ratio of men to women. And I was like, wow, and I was just thinking to myself, I like, why? Like, where are the men at? Because when I think of, that kind of work, because it is so physically intense, I was thinking it would be maybe the opposite, and not just because I'm single. That ain't what I really was just thinking that, just logically. I was like, wow, I was just surprised. So, I really started to think about it, like, why is this the case? Why isn't there a stronger presence of men in that movement, which we definitely will need to talk about too. Because I want to know first, why do you guys think that is? And then what do we do about it? How do we bring more men into the movement?
Yeah, me and Big Steel talked about this before.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so just to piggyback on the ego aspect, I've learned over the years of doing the classes and really having that space where men can be vulnerable and practicing that authentic dialogue, whether they're community members or not. I always try to make that space approachable, right? And I really get the real stories from a lot of guys when we're by ourselves, and they tell me honestly, like, a lot of apprehension has to do with their internal value of how they feel they're showing up as a man, as a masculine being. And a lot of men don't feel like they can. For instance, I did a class on chopping wood, and I didn't think it would be such a class, like a big turnout for a class, but a lot of men showed up, and they were really saying that they felt ashamed because they didn't know how to chop wood. And so what I've learned is when there's co-ed environments, that ego shows up for the man. And now when he can't do anything, he's too scared to really just stand out there and look silly. So instead of doing that, he just retreats to the back. And so I've been trying to, well, I'm gonna leave it like that. I believe it's just the ego in the space. And like Malcolm said, I think that's one of the things that we really have to tackle on a cultural level, just that ego and the need to disassociate ourselves from the toxic aspect of the egos as we transition into, adulthood. Like, we don't need it so much. So I really believe, truly, just from asking other men, like, that's what it boils down to. They don't want to look like less of a man in front of women.
They don't want to look or feel inadequate. So they're just like,
Yeah.
I won't show up. Now I'm straight, So yeah. So okay. What are y'all's thoughts, Melo, Malcolm?
I'm thinking that marketing, if we appeal to men interests, especially like sports, I think we talked about it once before, but like how they had the Nike commercials, the Gatorade commercials, just really making farming videos or outdoor videos that bring that type of vibe as like farming or being outdoors or whatever trade you're doing that's like a sport. So I think it's as men just really get into the interest of, man, having that discussion on like, okay, what we're interested in and how can we tie that in with like farming and other aspects of the movement.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, I want to say that we gotta figure out a way to debunk the toxic masculinity,
Yeah,
because that's a
That
lot
part.
of the problem,
yeah,
and also ego too, because it's like they've conditioned through time the that what we're doing is slave work, and ain't nobody got time for that. What you gonna grow up for when you can go to the store and buy? We don't do that no more. So we got stoves for, and it's just a lot of negative aspects of it. And then this is deep because not only that, but you got to look at who they give us, uh, who do they give us to look up to when when and I'm sorry to say this, and I don't mean nothing bad, but when they giving us only entertainers and sports figures to look up to, and these entertainers and sports figures are out here doing the toxic masculinity stuff. It's a cycle that keep going, and the guys that are not deemed toxic masculinity, they get looked at sideways or crazy. Um, and then too, like I'm tying to what Melo said with the marketing aspect of it too. I think with the marketing, with the way things are now, with the independence that social media allows you to have if you use it the right way, I think we can definitely market this thing in a certain type of way. I've been making songs and stuff. Erica showed me how to use this app. I've been making songs. I made a song the other day that was inspired, and
You
this
should have
line,
played it for us.
this line this line been in my head since I heard this song 20 some years ago, right? And it's a song by Trick that they don't live that long, but the first line, I want to buy me a Benz, but I'm 50 grand short, right? So in this song I made the other day, I flipped it to I want to buy me some land, but I'm 50 grand short.
There
Right.
you go.
So, cause that's what the real that's what we should be doing. But when you
Yeah,
think about it, like we gonna do all this out here to buy a Benz? No, we finna do all this to
right.
get this land, set the family up, right? Set the family up like some of our counterparts who got wealth that done spanned it 500 to 600 years. They done got out one business and went into another business. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it take group economics. That's a whole nother subject right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May I add
Y'all,
something? Am I
yeah,
picking that up? Yeah, like I think we should also start to market finances or market, having land and cash crops, and just valuable resources as finances more. I know that y'all have the legwork in doing that, but I think that's another thing. Once people or men start to look at, having valuable resources, natural resources as finances, that you get these ROIs and things of that nature, I think it'll be a good addition to the marketing repertoire. Because we're
no,
You
so
know
caught up in
what?
the stock market, like Earn Your Leisure and other podcasters are definitely valuable. But if
Yeah.
we can kind of have something that kind of put farming in that aspect of, this is financial as well, and really explain the return on the investment, I think that'll help as well.
I think the barrier that I foresee in that capacity is one that we kind of like talked about earlier, where we just chit chatting before the show started, but something that probably top of mind for everybody, and that's inflation,
Mhm.
hyperinflation. The money is looking funny. And I'm
Right.
yeah,
thinking that we can't market no money to nobody right now. To be, I'm gonna kick it like kung fu, man. To be real funky with y'all, man. If we got to market why it's important to grow food, that's when I kind of fall back, man. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna put some sauce on it. I'm gonna still sprinkle it in, but I'm saying, as a grown man or woman, but we talking about men right now. If you're a grown man and you're providing or protecting your family and your household, you probably did the same thing a lot of us done. Is really analyze what's making us sick, what's making my child break out, what is this rash you got this time? Let me test the water. And we done followed the rabbit's trails 1,000 different times. And it's just like food is the last battlefield. It's the final frontier. And if we don't really understand the value of that innately, like with all this information, I'd be saying, hey man, I'm not trying to talk to nobody who got the same outlets. We got these supercomputers walking around in our pocket.
That's
I'm not
right.
trying to market to nobody. If you ain't in it, hey man, peace be with you. I'm gonna catch you on the other side, man. If I see you, cool. If I don't, we out of here. That marketing stuff is over with for me. And I'm the one that's on social media, right? That's funny. But it's like it's like I can't do but so much though. It's some kind of ability to respond that you have as an individual, as a human being. And I'm saying in America right now, it's staring us right in the face. And we can't look around it if we wanted to. Food is vitally important and everybody know it. So I ain't trying to dress up none. I'm trying to say, hey man, you growing it or you hoeing it? Which one is you?
Yeah, this is
Straight
very,
up.
and I feel like it's so in our face now, from the suppression of our freedoms, from the totalitarian takeovers of cities, to the super hyperinflation. I mean, I don't know how many supers I have to put on it to explain the inflation. And just like I was saying earlier, taking for granted that you will always even be able to go to the grocery store. What makes you think that? I don't think people understand the rates at which farms are being shut down and taken over by the likes of people like Mr. Gates. I don't even like to put a Mr. in front of that. I'd like to put something else in front of that. Where you can't even, where they're, making it almost illegal to, even buy some seeds that they didn't create through their corporations. And then you got AI that's going to displace so many people out of jobs. So not only you're not going to have any money and maybe not be able to afford any food and things like this. What is your plan? How do you plan on moving forward? Because if all your plan was into just acquiring a bunch of material stuff, good luck with that, because you can't eat that Benz.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't eat that for dinner. You know what I mean? You can't eat jewelry. You can't eat any of this flashy stuff that's constantly pushed on us and pushed down our throat as what we should be valuing, rather than valuing our health, valuing community, valuing food, sustenance, sovereignty, freedom. The values have been inverted by design. So it's up to us to turn that back around and rebuild from there on with the right foundation, not from the inversion.
Yeah.
Is my thought. And one thing I'll add to that, because I'm not going to blame it all on toxic masculinity, because there's tons of toxic femininity out there too. And men normally going to do whatever the women are liking. And if they want a whole bunch of materialistic that's what a lot of the men are going to try to do and try to gain and try to get. If we don't have women out there that value a man that knows how to grow food, because to me, that's the sexiest thing you can do, is know how to take care of your home and your house and feed your family. What more could you want? You know what I mean? That's the life. But, a lot of women do not appreciate that. They don't find the value in that. They don't see that man as nearly as attractive as a man with a big bank account or a fancy car or a big house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think things are changing though.
No, I do. I do feel it changing, but there's still a lot of women with that mentality. But I do feel like it's shifting, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But I just don't want to make it seem like, oh, we're just downing all the men and they're just toxic and, we just all have it together. Because there's a lot of women I know that still have that mentality, unfortunately. So, but things are changing, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation with you all, and that I even do this podcast, because it sometimes we have to, present things to people in a certain way to start getting things to click a little bit different, and for them to see a different perspective. So I like everything that y'all definitely shared about that, as far as, ways to bring more people in and to kind of, get some more eyes opening up. So we kind of started touching on this, but so why is the food sovereignty movement so vitally important to the future, not just of, certain people, of humanity, period, as a whole? Why is it so vitally important that we have food sovereignty, not just food access, but food sovereignty?
Yeah, because we know they say the one who feeds the people leads the people. And we're here, and somebody has led us here to where convenience is our all-time, greatest champion, what I mean, trophy. And it's like that's got us further away from family, friends, nature, stewardship, the value in the simple things in life, hard work, discipline. And so it's just it's necessary because everything has to sustain itself. And that's why tell people who don't necessarily have a green thumb or they don't want to be a farm, like, look, you got who's responsible to feeding you though. So if you don't want to grow your food or fish for it or hunt for, okay, cool. Who did you sign the agreement with? So they gonna feed you and you're gonna supply what for them, right? So it's really just breaking that down as that's just a human responsibility. If you're grown, you're responsible for yourself. If you got children, you're responsible for them too. So what are you doing? And it's just really that necessary and it's vital because again, like I said earlier, it's the final frontier. They are making seeds with what do you call that? Intellectual property attached to them. So you can't have it. It's mine. I own this. They're trying to push out everything. I mean, I don't want to go down the list. We all know. But yeah, it's that important for us to really be able to feed ourselves because if not, then the new age or the next era of slavery is going to be inserted further than where we are now. And we're still very much encapsulated into a mindset of slavery, but we feel like we have free access until we don't anymore. And I think that's where we're going to be headed.
Yes.
Yeah, that's well said. And food is energy. You know what I mean? It's just as simple as that. So, humanity needs energy. And food, in a way, teaches us as well. So, and it kind of helps our DNA, our cells, and things of that nature. So, if we don't have a right relationship with that, it's like we're causing chaos for ourselves. So, it's really important for us to have control on how we're going to use that energy and how we're going to cultivate it. So, yeah, it's definitely essential.
Yeah. I think of, food is like, it's, to be able to grow your own food is a statement, man. Like to be able to not depend on the store. Like I think a lot of people don't understand how much of a
It's empowering.
yeah, I'm saying how empowering it is not to have to go to a grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you think about how things over time have been laid out, right? So we went from being a nation of thinkers, independent people, to a nation of dependent people, and it was purposely done that way. You know, when you start learning history and stuff, you'll realize that slavery really never went nowhere. They just reformatted it. That's all they did. They just reformatted it. Even right now, all the stuff going on, they setting it up to happen again. But this time, it's not gonna matter about the color. It ain't gonna matter about your color.
No, not
If
at all.
if you don't have skill sets to barter with, you probably gonna be a slave. To be honest with you, like you don't own no land or own nothing, and you ain't got no skills. You being set up, and it don't matter your color no more. I just feel like it ain't about color no more. It's like if you ain't got no type of skill set, you can't cook, you can't fix no car, you can't even put a Band-Aid on somebody.
Right. Right. No life skills, and they purposely don't teach our children life skills. They teach them so much useless, memorize all this stuff that you'll never, ever, ever use, and they have zero life skills. Spend 12 years in school, and sometimes longer, and still come out with zero life skills, completely dependent on a system that does not care about them at all, only wants to control them perpetually, forever, to greater and greater degrees. So yeah, if people aren't, aware of the path, like you said, we're being led very clearly, steered down this path. So if you're not aware and you're just kind of thinking like everything's going to work itself out, or, oh, well, eventually a savior will come and save us all and rescue us all. I'm hoping that people are saying, you're the savior, me and you, we're the saviors. We save ourselves. We rebuild. Just like too many of us sat by and let this happen, we are the people that also have to fix it.
Yeah.
So, it's really important. I really feel like it's important that people understand that, like you said, Lawrence, whoever controls the food controls you, because you cannot live without food. and also the quality of the food. Yeah, they might offer you some food, but at what expense and what is the quality? Do you have to have a
Yep.
digital ID to be able to go to the grocery store and get that food? What do you have to compromise as far as your own personal freedoms? Will they be able to dictate what you're going to buy? They've already talked about doing all of these things. They've already started implementing so much control, even just like to get FEMA and things like that, or refugee assistance. They've already started incorporating so much control to just get basic needs met, like food, like shelter. So what are you going to have to compromise and give up to receive that insect food or that lab grown meat?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
want something in your belly because you're hungry.
Yeah.
These are the things
Absolutely.
that we need to start thinking about, like, seriously. What's your plan for that? What's your plan for that?
Yep. And that's kind of where, the whole collectively sustainable movement comes in, and just us saying, hey, we are our saviors. We are the advocate that we're calling for, that we're looking for. It's you and I. It's me in the mirror until I find another person. And even me and Melo, we're out here installing beds around Atlanta food production system just to help our community members start to grow food. But then aside from that, we're also
Can we talk
involved.
about that movement, Lawrence, the Roots movement, please?
Yeah,
Explain
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, so the Roots Initiative is basically an initiative based off mutual aid. So it's like a grantless movement. We're not using any funds. We have 3 tiers. Somebody can come in and pay the full price of installation of $12.50, and that pays for their installation and pays it forward for somebody else. We have a middle tier where you can buy the supplies yourself, and they come up to about $300 to $400. You can buy them yourself, and then we'll come install. And then the last tier is the free tier, where if somebody pays it forward, that's how the free tier is initiated or supplied their materials. And we're just going around again in that mutual aid capacity, and we're saying, yes, it's our time, it's our information, it's our labor, but we're willing to assist you in this capacity because it's that necessary. Like, we'll give our energy to help you grow food because we understand that we need a decentralized food system, and that everybody needs to understand how to do this. And we're also showing people that it's not that hard, right? We're a makeup of all different backgrounds. Like Melo said, he's a teacher first. Now he's becoming a steward. These are things that people can learn in little to no time. And so it's been the framework of the disconnect. The systems framework disconnects us from the real reality, and it tells us that our food system is miles and miles and miles away, in this big rural farm with rows and rows, and it's mechanized. If they say that's where the food is, so it tricks you. And they say things are always hidden in plain sight. So we're looking around for the food, thinking it's in the country, moving to the country when it's right here. It's the weeds, like Big Steele was just saying. It's the stuff that's the medicine, right? We got fruit trees and things growing in abundance everywhere. We're just not privy to it because we think wild pears are just wild pears for animals. No, you can eat them wild pears. You can eat them. They just don't look like the grocery store because they're real. And that's, again, one of the things we're doing is kind of reorganizing the truth and, like, telling people, hey, no, that's false over there. This is what it really looks like, and this is what the sovereignty looks like. And then on top of us installing beds, Melo and other community members in Atlanta, we actually run our school, the Stewardship Center here, is our programming to where we're also pouring into the youth with social emotional intelligence, with stewardship development, with animal husbandry, with critical thinking. We doing double dutch and Foursquare. You know what I mean? Just taking it back to where it's like interaction. We're away from the screen. We're with each other. We're having conflict. We're dialoguing through. So it's just really bringing that community feel back to the neighborhood, right? We're bringing the community back to the neighborhood, and that's deep. So yeah, I'm gonna yield it there if I roll on the tangent, man.
No, that's deep, because I think people really, well, we've been conditioned to underestimate community. We've been conditioned to distrust everyone around us. Oh, they're just going to take advantage of me. They're going to hurt me. They're going to harm me. Be scared all the time. That's why the news is like it is. It's designed to make you feel fear all the time, to not want to connect with anyone else, to try to isolate yourself. So how can we build if I'm scared of everybody? How we gonna build together? We're not, and they know that. So I'm so glad that you're working with the youth, because I mean, you have a lot of young adults now that they can't even carry a conversation. They've lost those skills. If it ain't over text or over like a post, they don't know how to communicate with you.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really important that we are teaching community and how to interact and social skills early, because it's all tied together. Again, balance. Everything is tied together. We have to look at everything holistically, the whole person. We have to start looking at how do we develop the whole person, because we want to have healthy communities. We have to have healthy people that are emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy, mentally healthy, holistically healthy. And then we can have holistically healthy communities,
Absolutely.
So which is why I really love Collectively Sustainable, because they do take that approach. So I highly recommend y'all visit collectivelysustainable.org, because it really focuses on all of you, all of the person, the whole personhood, and the whole community, all aspects, social, mental, emotional, physical, food, everything. So yeah, I mean, it's important. What are your thoughts on this, Malcolm?
This is important, and with what Lawrence is doing, man, that's major boots on the ground, like when this thing hit the fan, it's gonna be a small group of us. It ain't gonna be a whole lot, you know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be a whole lot of people on this ark when they go to floating. It is not, and it's okay. It is okay, but more than ever, this is important. Hyperfood localism, like he was saying, you shouldn't have to go 50 miles, 15 miles to get food. Food should be right here, right next door. Like I'm trying to work with some people here now, just like, hey, let's take some of these empty lots and turn them into some type of food forest or something.
Right.
Like even with them, doing the alligator Alcatraz thing, and y'all rather build more buildings for capitalism than to actually build something that's really for the people. If we build all these buildings, then we got a concrete jungle, then we can't grow nothing because it's too hot. You go from being the zone 10 to 13 or something, because it's so hot. So
if people don't understand that too, when you start removing the trees and building all these, how that affects temperature. Can you explain that a little bit? Because I don't think a lot of people understand how that affects temperature.
Yeah, it affects temperature major, right? So over here where I farm at, it is so cool over there. Like if it's 90 degrees outside, over there in the shade and everything, it's like 70 something. It's a big difference. On the other side, ain't nothing but concrete. So if it's 90, it's actually 110 on the other side because there's nothing there but concrete. But yeah, this movement, is more important than ever. And I just really hope people are paying attention to what's really going on. You can't be afraid, and that's one of the biggest the failure. I mean, being afraid and the communication, two things that always mess us up. We can't read each other's minds. We got to talk.
Yeah.
Yes. What's your thoughts on this, Melo?
Yeah, we just got to be able to communicate, and I do want to give my flowers to Lawrence, because he definitely motivated me to really just pay more attention to getting more into the environment, growing my own food, and being able to provide. But yeah, like all of y'all said, it's communication, being able to be socially intelligent. You know what I mean? Being able to communicate, and being able to grow food and being able to communicate with the plants.
Yes.
Social,
I talk to my garden and my house plants constantly. I know my neighbors think I'm weird, but I mean, I'm talking to them, telling them how much I love them, how beautiful they are, and all the things, because they are extremely conscious, and I don't think they realize that either. They're very conscious beings, and their plants and stuff can sense you come home just like your pets can. There's been studies to prove this. So they are very conscious and they're very aware, and this is all, we're part of nature. We're connected, though. That's our family too. So we have to start embracing these connections. And one thing you brought up earlier, Lawrence, that really stuck in my mind is this convenience thing. I think that's one of the biggest impediments to food sovereignty is people don't want to lose that convenience. Well, I can just roll through the drive-through. I had a long day at work. I want something convenient. I don't care if it's poison. I want it to be convenient. I want everything in my life to be convenient. And if it's not, it's a problem. And convenience is literally killing us. Our addiction. We have an addiction. And I include myself in this. I'm still addicted to some convenience, but I've grown leaps and bounds over the years with, taking away a lot of those conveniences and just putting in the work to make sure what I'm doing is good for me in a holistic way. And a lot of times it is less convenient, but you reap the rewards of that healthier lifestyle on the back end. Yeah. So it's worth it. But absolutely. Does anyone want to speak to this addiction to convenience that we're struggling with?
Well, I say this. Let me jump over here first because I was going to just chime in real quick about the importance of being stewards instead of farmers or gardeners. Like, and that's kind of what I clear up the vocabulary when folks say, "Well, I ain't got no green thumb." No, we're pushing stewardship. Stewardships could just be your intentional reduction of carbon footprint, right? You're intentionally letting the dandelions flower in seed. You're intentionally watching the chickweed or the nettle and identifying them and knowing that they're medicinal. So you're not taking the weed whacker to it. So that doesn't just mean food production. It could just be stewarding the land and creating that relationship again. And with that relationship, you'll be more mindful. And then your consumption and your habits and things like that, as far as consumerism, they're going to change because you're thinking about the earth. Where did it come from? How long did it take to get here? What's the original state of its being? How did they make it look so fresh for so long? Because, you know what I mean? Somebody got tomatoes down the street and they pluck them and they bad in this amount of time. So it's like, it's really just getting back in that co-creative space. As far as the convenience, again, it's just like one of them things. It's like every other vice. You're going to get fed up enough to where you say enough is enough and I'm on my own ass about it, or you not. And that's just where we are. Like you just said, is everybody basically has to wake up and look in the mirror and say what they're not going to do and what they are going to do. And when you're hungry and you're running late, is you going to go back into those neural pathways that lead you into that Wendy's or Chick-fil-A parking lot, or, to pick up something quick and easy? Or are you going to say, nah, man, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stand on my square. I'm going to make it all the way to the home and make me whatever I got left. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be happy with that. I'm going to make my body adjust. I'm not going to be ruled by my stomach grumbling. And it's just one of them things where it's not a magic pill. It's not some esoteric knowledge that's going to be imparted on you. Is you is or is you ain't is what they used to say, man. That's it.
This is true.
Yeah.
Anyone have anything to add to that?
With the convenience kills, man. That it takes some strong discipline because, man, some of this stuff out here is crack. Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like
Design crack.
Ain't no such thing as having one piece of no. It takes
not at all.
It takes some discipline. Like it takes, and I'm relearning discipline. I was a very disciplined person until I got married, and then my discipline just fell off. So I'm relearning it, but discipline is very important to not being caught up into the convenience part, because convenience is good, but it kills. Convenience, it take a lot for convenience. You know what I'm saying? Like, for them to get, and people don't look at this like how, like, even with McDonald's, right? Like, we all like us a little McDonald's, but man, when that stuff sit up for years and it don't break down, like, what is it doing in our body?
We all done watched that.
Like, and we see this and we still be messing with it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
For real. Yeah, convenience is that fast money. It's that fast money. It's gonna eventually get captured. I mean, you're gonna eventually get caught up with it. So yeah.
Yep. And most of our conveniences too are so hard on the environment. Yeah. That's how it's so convenient. It's usually horribly hard on the environment. And again, just like the food, without a healthy environment that we can actually live in these bodies,
Right.
we're done. We're done. That's it. Game
Right.
over. You need an environment that is livable. So yeah, all these things are very connected, and y'all have given such food for thought. No pun intended. So now I want to take some questions, comments, feedback. I've been seeing all these messages pop up. I'm sorry I haven't been able to read them, but now is everyone's time to speak. Let me unmute everyone here. But anyone can start speaking now if you'd like to, if you have anything that you want to chime in or questions, comments, feedback.
Peace, peace, peace. How y'all doing?
Hey,
Good.
so
Same.
how are
What's
Same.
up?
you?
What's up?
Yeah, everything's cool. I'm kind of mad I missed the first few minutes of this, but I was on the phone with my pops and everything. But I did get to hear a good 75% of it, and I am in total agreement with everything that's been shared, especially when it comes to the discussion towards the end around, well, two of them. One of them being the dependence on the mechanisms, the machine, and the second one is the convenience dependence, right? And I'm just thinking to myself about how many different ways that I've been successful, or that I've found some success and maybe regressed a little bit, or that I've had no success in, as far as getting away from the convenience and or getting away from only thinking in terms of the mechanisms. And I really like that word mechanism, because because mecha, the machine, mecha, MECH, not MECC. That machine is exactly how it operates. I mean, of course, there's some evil people that designed it and taught less people under them, their underlings, how to push the buttons and make it go. But that machine right there it'll eat its own people, right? It's so bad that it'll eat its own, and so they're killing themselves with the same stuff they're killing us with, because um, the machine that they're making the people into will eventually eat them up. But we don't want that, because that's just destruction beating destruction. We want righteousness to be destruction. And so I think the message that you brothers are bringing, and Cynthia, that y'all are bringing, as far as like getting the community together, getting people to think more in alignment with truth, getting people to think more in alignment with togetherness instead of separation, is just very powerful. So I just want to acknowledge y'all and give DAP, say thank you, and just that's it. No question.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank
Feedback.
you.
Much
Appreciate it.
appreciated. Any other questions, comments, feedback? No?
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
Good. Yeah. I saw links, so I popped in to listen in. But I was just gonna say I appreciate. I hope it's not too noisy. I'll mute in a minute.
No, you're
Um, I
good.
I appreciate what you guys are that you're talking about food. Food is a complicated topic for me. um, but I was just reminded that because I've done some history into this with specifically Hippocrates, and I'm reminded of what he's attributed to saying, even though there's no real proof, but like, let food be your medicine. And I would actually even branch that out and say, like, let what we consume be our medicine. And the reason why I would say that is because when we look at the environment we have today, where it's just essentially corporate overreach of all institutional external forces controlling absolutely everything, they own everything, they control everything, all the way down to Monsanto, who is controlling all of how, like, our food is being grown with genetically modified seeds. But it doesn't stop there. It's all these same chemicals, all the same preservatives, all the same poisons. It's not just in our food that is being grown by these institutional forces. It's in our water supply. It's in our medicine supplies. So people don't even realize, like, they, with our medications like that coming out of the pharmaceutical industry, all the same poisons that are in our food. So this is for people to consider and to research. It is all also in our medicine coming out of the pharmaceutical industry, like fluoride, arsenic, all of these same things. If you get packaged food of any kind and it has like water, it's got arsenic and fluoride in it. If you take a ibuprofen for a headache, it's got arsenic and fluoride in it. It's the same stuff. So anybody who has like history, any kind of experience with having to take intravenous antibiotics, usually it's saline, but they mix all kinds of other weird crap into it as well. And there's just like a lot of that in it. So going back, like I like to look at the overall largest part of the picture. So I can appreciate you talking about the food, like as a resource. And in California, they try to make it so that like, they try to like make it so like we can't even like have a garden in Los Angeles County. It's ridiculous. Like, people can't have chickens, like, things like this nature. Like it's really, well, it's not everywhere in California, but certainly in like places like Los Angeles County and places that are very, very blue. So, but I can appreciate you talking about food, because I think it is something that people need to address. And if anybody is going to expect that we're going to be able to survive in a, say, anarchic type utopia, people better learn the basics. And I feel your pain when talking to some of the youth. And it's like, I mean, like when we were young, none of us really had all of our stuff together because we're young and, full of conflicting emotions. But, now it seems different in a way when I talk to somebody who's like 20, and it's like, it doesn't feel the same. And it's a very difficult conversation. It's very difficult to communicate with the youth and trying to express some of these issues. And with what you brought up with the convenience addiction, I thought that was very interesting that other people are noticing this as well. I would have referred to it as an instant gratification addiction. Now, me. And it's certainly a rising problem. And I think all of these things are interconnected. And I think all together, all of these things are causing massive, massive levels of illiteracy across the board with anything. I am a professional seamstress by trade, and I find people can't even do some of the most basic of skills, though I've tried to teach people, and they're not looking to learn any of it. And I think some creative ways to get the learning process, the learning juices flowing, and maybe like I've been thinking a lot about how to come up with new ways in order to educate and make things more interesting for the youth in a way that they can hear us. So anyway, thanks for letting me speak, and I appreciate the conversation.
No, you brought up some great and very important topics. Very important because, we just focused on food for this particular podcast, but it's what you're consuming, not just what you eat, what you're consuming. And the exposure level to toxins is astronomical. I mean, I don't even like the rain to touch me. I don't think a lot of people even have any idea what's in the rain. Graphene, barium, strontium. Wow. It's poison, and it's literally killing our soil. It's killing our soil. It's killing everything in the soil, the stuff that they're doing with the geoengineering and the stuff that's in the rain. I don't even like it to touch my skin. If I get rainwater on me, I go and wash off. But the plants can't go do that. They can't go run. They can't put an umbrella up. They need whatever water they can get. But it's a massive problem, from the lotions we put on, the cosmetics, all the hair product, everything. They put toxins in everything. You take one breath, you're breathing in I don't know how many nanoparticles of plastic. I mean, we build up, I think, like a credit card worth of plastic in our bodies, like every month or something like that. It's insane.
Oh wow.
It's insane. I could be wrong. It might not be a month, but it's frequent. It's very frequent. It's the amount of plastic that is in the air. Not even just if you use plastic or eat off of plastic or whatever. Just in the air is astronomical. Wow. Let alone all the other plastics you come in contact with and consume. So it's a huge problem. And Sarah, you brought up so many good points. I want to have you on to talk about this. So if you are interested, inbox me. I would love to have you on to talk about some of these environmental toxins and things like that, so people can be more aware and just understand the importance of what we're doing and why we're doing it. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to talk more about this. I'm all about branching out everywhere. So because before I was like online doing what I do now, I was a community activist. I worked in a local community center, and I worked with people physically, which is where I enjoyed this kind of work the most. I feel there's disconnection that takes place when it's only on the internet. Even though you get quite close with people and you got video and everything and blah, 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 you know, but it's not the same thing when you're standing right next to somebody and we can like, our like physical energy spheres are actually like, you know, going up against each other is a completely different environment you have. And so yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do that. The last thing I wanted to bring up that because you're working with plants and stuff, is that like, you know, things that survive on this planet were mostly made out of water. So why I bring that up is because of Dr. Masaru Emoto. If anybody's ever heard of this guy, he was a Japanese scientist, I believe Japanese, yeah. And he did this experiment with water.
Secrets of Water.
Oh, no, I did. I read that book about this.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I just think it's such a like powerful thing to do, not to just know it, but to practice it. And the idea was that him putting like what we energetically put into our, you know, water, that means our body is mostly water. Plants like are full of water. The ground is full of water. Like the air is even full of water, really. And this planet is mostly water. And when we put energetic force into that, like just metaphysically speaking, that is how that water will react. So if you put in a lot of negativity, you'll get very negative, nasty results. But if you put in love to it, you get very clean, pure results. Like me and my husband, we switched to reverse osmosis water several years ago. Yeah, and we put that energy into our water. That's all we cook with or drink with or consume now. And we don't even put regular water in our fish tank. We put that same reverse osmosis water in our fish tank for our fish. And so there's like a big difference in how, like, I mean, I won't even go into it, but how we have what are called Blackmore goldfish, and how they behave as fish. You wouldn't even believe me if I told you. Wow. It's like having two little tiny dogs in a fish tank. It's like the way they act, they're so like personable and like you can pet them. It's just, I won't go into it, but it's wild. And it just shows the difference when how we like metaphysically use our energy, how that affects the things that we are physically in contact with. So I just wanted to bring that up for anybody who's never heard of Dr. Masaru Emoto. Please look him up because his work is awesome, and I think it's just, I think it was relevant to what you were talking about, you know. So
it is. It's very relevant. I'll have to. It might be on my book list. There's a book that I read. I can't think of the name of it. about the way that water, communicates and everything. Was it The Secret Life of Water? I can't remember.
Hidden Messages in Water. That's the
That's it.
same book.
That's it. Yeah. I don't know if I have that on my book list if on my website on the resources page, but if I don't, I'll add it because that is a powerful book that I think everybody should read. And there's another one about the same thing about trees. And it's powerful. I learned a lot. Like I knew it, there was something to it, but nothing like what I learned. I was like, whoa, this is like next level. So no, you brought up some great points. Thank you very much for that information. Any other questions, comments, feedback?
Yeah, I just want to say, y'all, thank you for being here and taking the time to talk to us about food sovereignty because this has been really, really good. And I think that for me personally, it's just really hopeful to get other people's perspectives on how they even and hear your stories on how you actually transitioned into starting, say, farming or homesteading or potted planting to build up to food sovereignty. And of course, it's never like it's done. It's like an infinite game that we get to play, onwards and upwards. So I just want to start by saying thank y'all for being here. And one of the questions that kind of comes to my mind is when it comes to our families and connecting with them on these topics of food sovereignty and sharing with them the importance of it. What is something that, like, what are some ways that that you all have kind of set up in your own homes to get, say, your babies involved with it? I know that a few examples were brought up, but I'm curious of even for homeschoolers or after school type things. I know that there are summer programs, but what are some ways that you encouraging the next generation in valuing the food sovereignty and building those skills?
Yeah, I'll jump in. With our children, we've been very, very, very diligent and very mindful in calculating how we incorporate it into our lives. So it's not overbearing or overwhelming, or they grow up resenting it. And the best thing that I have done is just really extend it to where you're allowing them to try new things. We're allowing them to cook. My daughter can make a full meal. She's at 12 years old. My son makes waffles and bread. He's 9. My other son can make cereal and cookies, and they're in the kitchen. And so it's a part of their snack. So whatever you want to have for snack, because we're not going to the store to get it, you're going to have to learn how to make it. So we're going to open it up to where you can make Pop-Tarts, you can make whatever you want, but you're going to have to do it. And so it's empowering them to have that positive reinforcement. Hey, I get to make these cookies. They're not really thinking about the skills that they're building. They're thinking about the end result. So that's one way. And again, not making it so overwhelming to where they're burdened by it. We still have chores. I think that's a great way to develop discipline and critical thinking. So their chores might involve picking the fruit or watering or doing the fertilizer with dad. And it's just small things. We're only giving them 30 minutes to an hour every day that they have to do these chores. So it's rewarded by, hey, you did your chores. Now here's your game time at the end of the day. You get that 1 hour. So it's like a dollar for dollar thing. You did an hour here, you get an hour there. So again, it's just that positive reinforcement. I think we can rewire or calibrate ourselves the way the system has done. And we can do that definitely with our children in a hyper localized environment, like a household. We can definitely set it up to where it benefits them to do these things on multiple levels and multiple dimensions to where they grow up. And it's just they're in a fish in water. So when they grow up, they're just naturally doing these things because that's just what we did.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Me too. Melo, you are muted. There you go.
Okay. All right, cool. So I teach like over 100 students a week, but it's not necessarily on food sovereignty. But my point is like you really have to relate to kids, like with their culture, things they're interested in. It's like finding that middle ground. So and implementing what you want them to learn with what they already know. Um, yeah, for like any mundane task or things that they may not want to do, it's just about finding what they're interested in, seeing how you could make it like a game. I use a lot of games to engage children. So I would say go that route. Just really pay attention to the children. And we got all types of resources to kind of help um, come up with things or making that integration happen between what they like and what you want them to know.
I so I've been on both sides of this, right? So growing up as a kid working with my daddy ain't never really tried to make anything appeal to me where I would like it from my point of view. So in a way, I kind of resented a lot of the stuff with plants and everything because we was landscapers and stuff like that. So soon as I could, I ran away. Like graduated high school, gone, ran away, and ended up coming back to it. But now that I'm older, a little wiser, and having my kid, when I do get my time with my kids, I always try to, understand them and relate things to where they can understand it from their point of view, because it makes them want to get into it. When you can make that connection with the kid, and a lot of people can't make that connection, but if you're one of them people that can connect with them kids, man, that's a talent. But we have to be able to relate it to them some type of way. It might maybe through music, it may be through a game, even pulling because my kids. I'd be like, y'all play the game so much, but what you think about creating your own game about something that you like doing yourself, and then get them to thinking like, oh yeah, we could do that.
No, I agree. My kids are grown now, but when they were younger, that was my thing. I just looked for their natural patterns of interest, their natural gifts, and just honed in on it and like just encouraged them and motivated them to explore that to the fullest degree that they felt comfortable. I will support you in exploring this to the fullest degree and help you educate yourself more on it, whatever. And then I think to tie it in with, food sovereignty and things like that, just take those same interests and just find some type of way to relate it back to like how Lawrence was saying, oh, you like that? Okay, let's teach you how to make it. You know what I mean? So yeah, just taking their interest and what they already like and what they're already passionate about and just tying it into whatever, you want them to learn, I think is a really, successful method for reaching kids.
Thank y'all.
Yes,
These
yes,
are
ma'am.
phenomenal ideas.
Any other questions, comments, feedback?
Yeah, I wanted to come back in.
Okay, so come on back there.
I keep it short though. I keep it short. Nah, I just when it was right before Tennessee went, y'all brought up how everything is poison. Everything is tainted with the chemical signatures, right? They put the symbols and chemical signatures, frequency modifiers, if you will, in everything, right? And so I just wanted to share this on that in that regard, in regards to that information, and hopefully it hits right. Nature be abhorred by the people we adore. We bleach and kill the nutrients that's needed in the soil. And now got weaknesses galore from the ceiling to the floor. Strength, courage, and wisdom never needed people more. Communities, they scared. Ain't no unity in there. Influences be geared toward the lunacy we share. And some people waking up, but with scrutiny we stare down an endless path of trapdoors and cruelties we bear. So how? How we supposed to align with the truth when the most heavily targeted population is the youth, and the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness is mute? Are we doomed to watch the world of our children burn too? That's two questions, but one answer will do. We align and stop the fire with the principle and cue to sculpt the living truth inside the heart of me and you and dig deep in the ground and keep foundational loot. This principle teaches us how to build, how to, principle teaches us how to till the land and beautify the space around our home and in our family too. You study past choices, you shall know them by their fruits. If you need remove the weeds, you must tug upon their roots.
Dope. Yes,
Yeah,
that
that's
was
hard.
That was
perfect.
dope.
Hard.
Perfect sentiment for this conversation.
Bro.
Thank you for that, Soul.
Yeah.
So on that note, I'm going to tell you guys about that was so good. Thank you. The next upcoming podcast, and we talked a little bit about the younger generation. So the next podcast is actually Gen Z and the Truth and Freedom Movement. 3 special guests: Trinity Mitchell, which is my daughter, she is 21, and some of her cohorts, Zoe Christopher and Cecilia Silva. They are very active in, in sovereignty and freedom and learning real life skills and things like that. So that'll be a very great podcast. It's on Saturday, September 13th at 2 p.m. Hopefully you can join. Then after that, it'll be You Are Divine by Design. That's the final podcast in my 15-point series on natural law. And that's on Wednesday, September 24th. And as always, please visit the website for more information and ways to connect. That's at affirmlifedaily.com. Follow on social media at Affirm Life Daily. I cannot continue to spread this message of truth, freedom, and sovereignty without your help. So please like, share, follow if you can. It is greatly appreciated. I cannot do this alone, and I'm so grateful for the soul family that I have found. And so many of you, I am eternally grateful from the bottom of my heart. I thank you, and thank you for joining tonight. And all of you have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
All right. Y'all take care.
Peace.
Peace.